Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in today. Today, I want to talk about why forming habits can be such a challenge for us neurodivergent folks. Can we change this? And if not, is it possible for us to find ways to thrive despite it? So, first of all, let's talk about how neurotypical people form habits. They do a certain thing every single day, let's say brushing your teeth. And as they do these tasks over and over again, they eventually become what we call second nature. It's almost automatic. They can do these in their sleep. The actions slip into the background and become habits that require very little conscious thought. But for us neurodivergent folks, that seamless transition to habitual behavior just doesn't happen. Every single time that we approach a task, we have to actively choose to do it. And that can get really exhausting. So think about this: having to decide to brush your teeth or take your supplements every single time is downright draining. Simple daily routines can feel like monumental efforts, sucking away our mental and emotional energy. And this constant need for decision making can leave us feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. It drains our spoons and it leaves us with very little energy for anything else in our life. And here's the kicker: we neurodivergent folks crave the new, the novel, the interesting, and the emergent. So once something becomes rote, it transforms into a chore. And not just any chore, but one that we struggle to remember because we can't form habits. The repetitive nature of these tasks becomes boring and disengaging, making it even harder for us to stick to our routines. So, this hunger for novelty can lead to a perpetual cycle of starting new projects or hobbies, but struggling to maintain them once the initial excitement wears off. Be honest. How many of you have a whole drawer or maybe even a whole room full of craft projects that you're going to get back to one of these days? Personally, I think I probably could have paid off our mortgage with all of the new side hustles and new obsessions that I've had. Our brains thrive on new and emergent experiences, which conflict with the mundane nature of routine tasks. So, this internal battle can make us feel like we're constantly failing at things that should be really simple. And that can lead to a sense of inadequacy. And then let's not forget the external judgment. So, I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but from a young age, many of us ADHD type individuals are told to try harder, to just be more disciplined, or just get organized. These messages can become internalized and we start to wear them, making us believe that there's something inherently wrong with us because we can't do what others find easy. And this internalized judgment can be really damaging. This is where we get our inner critic. It's how we form the cycle of self criticism and low self esteem and even rejection sensitive dysphoria. But here's the deal: we need to cultivate self compassion and self love. The very traits that make it hard for us to form habits, our need for novelty and our nonlinear thinking, those qualities are also the traits that allow us to think outside the box, to be inventive, and to approach problems from really unique angles. So, embracing these strengths can help us shift our focus from what we struggle with to what we excel at. So then the question is, how can we capitalize on our strengths while still getting the necessary stuff done? Well, the last thing that I want to do is start talking about lists and apps. None of us want that. So here are a few more out of the box suggestions. Let's reevaluate the necessity. What I want you to do is ask yourself if the task is truly necessary. Can it be done less frequently? Or can we find an alternative approach that feels less burdensome? Let's think about that for just a minute. If you're washing the dishes after every meal because that's the way your mom said it had to be done, well, maybe we can reevaluate. Can we maybe just rinse them off and then wash them all at once, one time during the day? Can we get our family on board a bit more to help? Can we look at this task through a new lens so that it becomes less important in the big picture? The second thing that I want to look at is how we can incorporate novelty. Can we find ways to make routine tasks more interesting? This could mean listening to a new podcast while doing chores, trying a new toothpaste flavor, or changing up your environment. And I know that sounds like a hack, and I don't like hacks. But if we look at this from a neurodivergent perspective, then we can embrace the idea that we're creating something for ourselves rather than defaulting to a neurotypical way of doing that. And I also want to talk about using external tools. Have you all seen the new technology where there are these AI assistants that help you to remember tasks? I don't know. I think it might be worth a look. If it's too much tech, maybe we could just ask someone to help us set it up because I know that tech is not my strong point. But maybe this kind of life assistant can actually help offload the mental burden of remembering our tasks. Creating mini rituals. So the idea here is that maybe we can optimize our ADHD love of the dopamine hit to turn mundane tasks into small rituals that have a beginning, a middle, and an end. This can make the dull come alive if we want to try to look at it as though it's some sort of exotic meaning to even the smallest actions that we have to take. So, what that can look like, just from my personal life, is that okay, I'm basically a child. And I'm learning to accept that. So take this with a grain of salt. But when I take my supplements, I have this elaborate process that taking supplements could be like a potion making ritual. And we can use a whimsical container for our supplements. And we can imagine that we're an alchemist crafting elixirs. We could even recite a magical incantation and acknowledging the benefits of each supplement and finish with a celebratory sip of your potion, a fun drink that you use to take your supplements. Honestly, I have the same kind of things for cleaning my house and for getting ready for bed. It's a whole thing, but I enjoy it. So if we can turn it into something that we enjoy, even if it's way out there and definitely not normal, proper adult behavior, well, who cares about that? We are getting it done, and that's all that matters. We're doing it our way, and it's a neurodivergent way, and it doesn't matter if it looks weird to other people. So then the last one, cross it off. If you get a bit of a dopamine hit from drawing a line through something, go ahead and use a scrap of paper to cross off tasks once you complete them. It doesn't have to be a formal list, just even the act of crossing it off can be satisfying. I really hate making lists. It actually makes me curl up a little bit. I think that's pretty obvious because I talk about it all the time. But when I really absolutely can't avoid it and I need one, the one little change I made to make it more palatable for me was to draw a box in front of each thing, like I did when I was in kindergarten, and I can check off the box when I'm done. And for some reason, for me, that's enough of a dopamine hit that I can manage it. So I'm going to wrap this up, but what I really want to get across is that by recognizing the unique challenges that we face and embracing the strengths that come with our neurodivergent minds, we can find creative solutions that work for us. Habit formation may be challenging, but when we're using self compassion and innovative strategies and we're going to do it our way, then we can really thrive doing it along the way. Thanks so much for watching today. As always, remember it's perfectly okay to be where you are right now. Embrace yourself with love and understanding. I'm very proud of who you are, and I hope that you are too. See you next time.